What is poppin' YouTube? Maximus the Forex Trader. Um, don't mind the background music. It's my little yin yang thing I got going on. I like listening to that. Helps me focus, you know what I'm saying? Nice little wave, a little thunder, some water, ocean. So in this video, we're gonna cover these three weeks right here, and basically it's from last year. And don't get discouraged if you see like these trend lines and stuff like that, because I'm gonna explain everything, how everything works. So in this video, we're gonna explain retail trend lines, last kisses, M's and W's, horizontal trend lines, Doji's, false breakout, and basically how to I'm gonna introduce you guys how to identify reversals at the box support and resistance, basically like wicks and dojis. So let's get it going. So first of all, as you can see, we're in this area right here to the far left. Basically, we had a strong downtrend. So in this area, when the downtrend, I can't go back furthermore because of the phone data, not the phone data, but the chart data won't let me go back that far. So I put some retail trading trend lines because although like I say they're not the best, but they can identify certain key points in basically they can identify crucial key points in trading areas, basically is what I want to say. So when you basically with this system, what you want to do is you want to box in levels, you get me? I teach you how to box in levels in part 1 or 2. I'm not really sure which one it is, but I think it's part 2. And very important because at these box levels, you can get wicks, and then get to trade basically M's and W's. You get me? Because wicks, they can signify something, and the dealer, he can throw you a first leg. You got me? A first leg right here. Look to the far right, a first leg, and then he can throw you a wick. You see me? But it obviously didn't happen in this example. It did happen, but later. But I'm gonna get to it. And that could signify more short sells. And I recommend. Well, I'm gonna teach you how to box in real quick. It's a little harder to box in. Well, not really. So this right here is a box level because you can see. One moment. This is a box level because the dealer, he broke out of a zone, right? A box level, he broke it, and he kept going up, and he came back down. You get me? That's when you box it in. When you see a strong pullback, in this case for a buy, you want to wait for the dealer to break out the box and pull back. Obviously, you're not gonna see it in real time, but I'm just teaching you box levels basically. And this right here is another level itself because the dealer, he pulled back right in this area, came and he pulled back, and then he came back up and broke above of resistance of the box, therefore turning it into support, a new level basically. So that's how you do that. So basically, you want to draw your retail trend lines, you want to box in your levels and get it going. I already went ahead and marked, you see the green arrows. I already marked our trading examples for the video. That's what I'm gonna start doing. I'm gonna have everything ready, and then I'm gonna explain what happened basically, so that way we can get straight to the point. So what I teach you guys is on the beginning of a new week, let's say we're in a downtrend, you're not supposed to trade right away. You're supposed to wait at least 12 to 16 hours before you start trading. You get me? Sometimes you gotta wait a little longer. All depends, because a trade might not appear till later in the week. You get me? You're not supposed to be jumping into trades right away because, as you can see, in each of these weeks right here, these 3 weeks, because this is a 4-hour chart. And basically this zone right here is 1 week. This zone is another week, and this one is another week. And if you notice that each week has two or three good trades that you can take. You get me? If you're trading more than if you're trading a pair more than 3 times a week, you can run into drawdown because now you're just over trading. You got me? You gotta sit back and wait and stuff. You know what I'm saying, for a signal, basically. So boom, we started a new week, right? We look at the hard rate. We got our support resistance, retail trader, the red line right here. We use it, but not a lot. We use the horizontal, the market maker, horizontal trend lines. Like, yeah, you could have traded that, but it's not really showing you anything. You got me? Like, the first leg didn't even hit the box, and we came back around. Didn't touch it again, so it signifies something good. But you want to see wicks, or at least a touch to the trend line or the box level. You got me? So we're just waiting. We're just waiting. Like, yeah, you got a doji and all that, but you want to see something else. You want to see wicks and stuff like that, or for the dealer to shift right and then pull back. So we're just waiting. Once we saw this, we're getting ready. Um, you could have. Well, no, no, no. You can't trade that. I already have everything example because um, what can happen? This candle, it's not tradable, but it's showing you something. You get me? With the wick, it's basically what it's showing you is that the dealer there's no money for a buy. You get me? There's no more money up there. He's just hitting the stops of these previous M's basically. So that's just showing you that basically we're in a strong downtrend. You get me? Not every candle, every wick candle you're supposed to trade it. You gotta let the dealer show you his hands. You get me? You gotta let the dealer show you his hands. And then what this is showing us more downtrend. You get me? So we're like, all right, boom, because most of the time he could come back around and hit it again. You get me? That's when you would trade it as an M, or you can wait for him to shift, pull back, and throw you dojis. You get me? So once you seen that the dealer he gave you a wick candle, he shifted, came back up for the second leg of a doji, you gotta take that going down because if it was really in an uptrend, especially this candle, as a wick, you see like the wick to the downside, but he don't shift as a shift candle, it throws you a doji, then most likely it's gonna be a sell. You got me? It's gonna be a sell. Boom, you would have grabbed your 45 pips off rip right there. You got me? Let me see something. 10, 20, about 35 pips. But you could wait because we know we're in a strong downtrend. You get me? We know we're in a strong downtrend. So sometimes you can wait for the rest of the week because our trading style is swing trading. You get me? We identify strong buys and sells. You get me? So we expect at least 110 movement through our trading week for a pair. You get me? So boom, that's how you would take that trade. You wait for the market to open. We already know we're in a strong downtrend, right? But what you want to do is you want for the dealer to show you his hands. You want him to stop hunt high because we're in the downtrend, right? Sometimes these M's are tradable, but sometimes they're not. You want to wait for the dealer to like touch the box or the red retail trader trend line. You got me? Um, so we're like, all right, it looks good, but it don't look that good. You got me? If it was double doji, like right there, like yeah, cool. But this works more later in the week. You got me? You want to wait sometimes for the dealer to show his hand. We saw this candle, a wick to the high, close back down below, false breakout. So we're like, all right, so he don't want to close high. You get me? He's respecting the red trend line and the box level resistance trend line. That's a strong confirmation, basically, of a downtrend. And then once you see like a shift, and then a doji, like a little pullback doji, not wanting to close it back above the retail trader trend line, the red trend line, then you could take that going short. You get me? Sometimes on the hourly, we're not gonna get that stop hunt to the high. You get me? During London session, so it's up to you to break down the 4 hour basically, because you can get in a straightaway trade based off the 4 hour. So because the dealer don't always stop hunt in London, but for now we've been doing good this week. We've been doing good. We've been turning the corner. Um, like I was doing like yeah. There's some weeks I've been doing good, but there's weeks where I've gotten sloppy because I haven't been studying, and the dealer would take back some of my money and stuff. But we're definitely on the right path. You get me? We got one of the best trading systems. We're breaking it down basically, and this system it works for all type of trading, stocks, all that. It works for all that. But I don't trade stocks and nothing like that because it's too slow. You get me? It's too slow for me. This even works for Bitcoin. But the thing with Bitcoin is you need a lot of capital. You get me? For forex, you need a lot. You don't need a lot of capital. Um, Back in 2019, um, I grabbed like $300 and I made like $3,000 to $4,000. You get me? I lost some of it. Don't get me wrong, but I withdrew a lot of the money. You get me? Just recently, I withdrew some money too. Basically, it wasn't much, like 450. I grabbed 100, threw it in my account, grew it to 950. Um, I withdrew 450 and I lost the rest. You get me? This is I'm giving you reality. I'm telling you the truth. You get me? Like I am telling you that I do lose money, but I'm on the right path of the whole trading style. As long as you're on the right path and studying, you get me? You should be all right because you gotta believe in your system. You get me? You gotta believe. You gotta know how to identify certain candles. You gotta know how to box and level. But moving on. Um, So basically, this is the real trend line that we use, horizontal, all the way to the side. You get me? Not vertical. This more of my trading style that I like to use, basically. So once we won this trade, or we're currently in it, and let's say like it's the next day, like London session again. What you want to do is you want to see the dealer shift low, right, and then pull back again. You see, he went low. We're looking to the high rate. We're at the high rate over here. We're at the high rate. You wanna see him shift below and then pull back. You get me? If you see him pull back and throw you a doji, right? Basically not wanting to close above the red retail trend line and the horizontal trend line, then what you wanna do is you wanna wait for him to shift again, right? And then basically throw you basically or so this is how we're gonna explain this. You wait. So basically, we took this trade. Let's say we won, okay, because it is basically a win. You want to see him shift more lower and then pull back. You get me? I'm re-explaining how to get in it. Basically throw you some type of resistance and then shift. And that right there is letting you know that's a very strong downtrend. So what you want to do is for the next 4 hour candle, you want to wait at least like 15 minutes or 30, it depends, for a pullback, basically. For a small, you see this wick candle right here? Well, this wick, that's just like a little mini stop point. It was like 5 pips. So probably like that can happen like in 30 minutes to an hour because there's a 4 hour candle. You get me? 4 1 hour candle fits in one of these candles. So once you've seen that, you wait for a little stop point. Then you take the next candle after the shift, the big shift candle. Then you get in. You get me? You get back in. Boom, and you would have won that right there. Um. So the thing with this is that yeah, we're London traders, but these patterns can happen during London. You got me? Um. Once you become more advanced, because yeah, London trading is crucial. But sometimes you don't even get the shift in London. You get me? Because the dealer can move it around during Asian or New York session. Um, Day trading is cool, but you gotta be very skilled. You get me? Like yeah, we're kind of like day traders, but we're basing it off of the 4 hours swing trading. Very powerful, way more powerful than day trading. You get me? Um, so that's how you will win that trade for that week. Those two trades. So what did I? All right. So now we're in the new week, right? We're into next week. We're chilling. We won 2 week two trades. These patterns they work for all charts because the market is rigged. You get me? The market has a certain bot that moves it around basically with these same patterns, but it's up to you to learn how to see it. You get me, happening in real time. So basically, all right, went to the new week. We won these two trades. And with sync, once we get better, we're gonna go for more than 45 pips. You get me? Cause an average pair moves 110 pips. That's the max I'll ever trade. No more than that. You get me? Um, you should be you after a while. Once you start learning how to catch 45 pips, and your count is growing and growing, and you're seeing that there's more extra pips on the table, then you can basically start moving your take profit for like 70 to 90 pips. But the only thing with that is that you got to be very alert and manage your stop loss. You get me? That's the only thing with that. But at the end of the day, it'll be worth it. So, all right, we got a new week. The dealer. So basically, what we're waiting for every time for a new week. If we know we're in a downtrend overall, based off the 4 hour and daily, um, basically you want to wait for a pullback, get me, a strong pullback, and for the dealer to start going a little low, right, but then pull back again. See this M formation? Okay, so boom, we have the first leg of the M. So we had the full pullback, first leg of the M. We have the horizontal trend line, the one that we use. Once you see him, okay, we got the first leg, and then we got the half a shift for the upside. But once you see him not shifting above that, then you can start getting ready for a second pass of the horizontal trend line and a touch of the retail trend line. Notice how he's just closing smoothly above this line right here, giving you an M formation. Then you could take that on the next candle going low, basically for 45 pips. It might not happen like it it it, it might not happen right away, but sometimes you can wait. You get me? In this case, sometimes you can lose the trade if you wait. You get me? So once you see him, so basically to identify to get out, once you see him not really shifting low and kind of pulling back, then you want to get out. You get me? You want to get out because the dealer can come back around to resistance again. You would have grabbed 40 pips, because basically this green arrow, you see that wick up top, that could be a false London breakout, and that's what we trade basically. So definitely 45 pips. Would have grabbed 45 pips. That's why I say 45 pips at first, because you gotta learn the system first. Because this video is for new beginners, new students basically. Um, and I only suggest beginners to go for 45 pips basically. So that's how you will win that trade. You will wait because we know we're in a strong downtrend, so you want to wait for the deal to open up. Stop hunt throughout the Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, whatever the case may be. Um, Hit the brakes. Then that's when you put in. Once you see like this blue candle, you want to map that in as resistance. You get me? Horizontal resistance. Blue. First leg, blue candle. Dealers hitting the brakes. Doji. You're seeing him not shift above double doji. Then it's a good sign that basically he's going lower, because by then he would have went long. You get me? He would have had like a false breakout. So what you want to do is you want to either you could trade this second leg. You get me? It's a little risky, but sometimes what you want to do is you want to wait for the full leg to complete of the second. So you want to wait for the shift candle basically. And what you want to do is you want to wait for a little wick up top and then take it low. You get me? Because that could be that false London breakout, like I said, and grab your 45 pips, and that's how you'll win that trade. And basically, these horizontal trend lines right here, the white one, it can signify that the dealer wants to go long. You get me? Basically shifting more higher. How is that a trade? So one moment, because this part's a little confusing. So candles like this right here for the next one, that's when you will go for the hourly. You got me? The hourly. Um, we had previous resistance over here at the left because you since we know we're in a downtrend, and this was a strong resistance zone. You get me? You gotta chart it all the way to the right. Get me this line right here from last week because there could still be sellers and stuff like that too. You get me? Buyers, sellers, whatever the case may be. And it's a little tough to identify this basically. But I bet you on the 1 hour chart, this is where you could identify it. So don't really worry too much about this trade because I can't go into the 1 hour all the way back from last year. But that definitely is a trade, basically. Touching resistance. Touching resistance, right? Um and you could have won it if the opportunities were right on the hourly, you got me? It all depends. So once you see him going back down again, then you can tell that the trend is gonna continue for a sell most likely. You got me? So you see the dealer, right? He went back down for a low, started pulling up a little bit, throwing you two wicks to the low, basically kind of identifying a buy, right? But once you see him shift and close back down and close as an inverted hammer, because this is an upside down hammer candle, that could signify strong sell. You get me? I'm teaching you candle patterns basically. Candle patterns. After a shift confirmation, the continuation of the trend for sells, the dealer's gonna come back. He's gonna go low, start stop hunting. But once he starts stop hunting with dojis, doji or wick, you could trade that. I'm telling you, you could trade that, and you would have ended the week with basically 2 or 3 wins based off of what I just taught you. That's why these videos are only gonna be like 30 minutes basically, but they're gonna be packed in. You get me? With good information basically on the system. So now we're into the new week right here. This new week. So like I told you, what you want to do is since we know we're in a sell position, you wanna wait for the dealers to stop hunting. But once you see him the first 12 hours now stop hunting, he's hitting a wall, then you can map in resistance. You get me? So we have a little stop hunt. We got the horizontal trend line. Give me that white little trend line there. Resistance because we're in a sell position. You get me? But you gotta kind of be careful a little bit because as you can see, um we're kind of at a retail trader uptrend. You get me? So what can happen in most sometimes is that he can give you a sell, right? False breakout, although it's the real trend, and then reverse going up. You get me? So we saw that new week. Get me? What's the heart rate? We're waiting at least 3 candles, 12 hours. We seeing a lot of dojis, 3 dojis. The fourth one, that's it. Lights out. You get me? Trade that. You're gonna get paid, bro. Um, so that's how you would trade that. But be very careful because I'm gonna teach you something right now, real quick. Okay, so we would have grabbed. Would have grabbed your 45 pips off rip. But one moment. Oh wait, I didn't box it in right. That's why. I was wondering like that's why I tell you to well, that's what I'm saying. That retail trend lines, the red trend lines, these right here, the ones that I'm touching at, they can they can signify false breakout, and then the box level support. Since we're in a sell, the dealer can throw you candles. You see this doji candle, this one right here. I'm gonna box it in for you. See that? You see what I just squared up right now? That at the bottom of support in a sell trend, that can signify strong buy trend. You get me? A strong change of direction on the market, especially how we had the false like we had a breakout, retail trader breakout. Our systems our systems resistance signal. Then we're at the box. We already got our 45 pips. Don't get me wrong, but we're seeing that the dealer wants to reverse. You get me? Because we had a doji at support, and candles like that can signify strong change trend directions. You get me? Wicks at support and resistance can tell you a lot. But I'm gonna be teaching you guys that more in another video. Cause we're not kind of trend traders, you got me? We're not kind of trend traders. So this is not a trade because we waited for the first leg, right? Um, we're at support. We gotta be very careful. I mean, we're at resistance again. We gotta be very careful. So if you see an M with dojis, you wanna wait for the second leg to complete. You got me? Go up. Once you've seen this, the dealer closing back up as a shift, then it could identify that the dealer, he's going for a counter trend trade, and basically everything's reversed. You get me? Everything's gonna be buys. But you keep that in mind. You get me? You keep that in mind. You don't want to you don't want to trade going up. You want to wait for the dealer to hit another point of resistance up here. You get me? Because how the dealer he came back from last week, how he bought and then he reversed over here. That leaves a trend line of resistance basically. So once we see like the dealer going up there, you want to wait for an M. You see it didn't happen again. The dealer keeps breaking it, keeps breaking above that. Then it's a possibility that this level could reset. You get me? That's how you identify resets. But the thing that can happen is he can go all the way back up to resistance and then shift again back down. You get me? Because overall, you gotta you gotta count that we're still in a sell. You got me? So once you see him break, that, and this is why I say retail trader trend lines can be useful. You got me? But we use box levels, support and resistance with horizontal trend lines. So once you see him go back up there, you want to wait for him to throw you an M. You got me? With dojis. So we got the M at resistance, support. I mean, we got the resistance at box level, and we got the resistance on the retail trader turn line, the red line that I have right there, and then the box level resistance, the white line up top over here. Over here. So I'm talking about this area. So what you want to do is you want to wait for an M with wicks. You get me? For the dealer throw you wicks. To me, we had two wicks. We got dojis. You feel me? Inverted hammer. Look, you see how powerful that candle is at the right time? Inverted hammer. Upside down hammer, it signifies sells, and a hammer it signifies buys. But in this case, we got an inverted hammer. So we're waiting for a second leg doji. Once you've seen this fourth doji, at resistance of the box and resistance of the trend line, a retail trade, then you could trade that going down. You get me? And you would have won that. Basically, would have won. You would have got your 45 pips basically. So now this trade right here, So basically, we're seeing a shift, right? Well, let's say that we did win this trade. We won that trade because we waited for we saw all our horizontal trend lines being broken. You got me? Hold on. We saw these white trend lines being broken into. So we're so like, damn. All right. So what is it a buy now? Are we gonna reset? You can't say it's a reset yet if he hasn't broken resistance. You get me? Because he can still reverse at resistance again. So like I said, we waited to see what happens at resistance of the box up top and resistance up top at retail traded trend line. We had a touch at it. We had an inverted hammer, more dojis, second leg M lights out. You're gonna get paid. Boom, and you got paid. So Now we won that trade. Now we gotta wait for another pullback. You get me? That's what we're doing. We're waiting for pullbacks and stuff. You wait for the dealer to show his hands. Um, for a little pullback. But if you're noticing lots of dojis and the dealer's still not shifting above, and we're in a downtrend, by the fourth doji you can trade that going down because there's no money up there. You get me? Um, he could have he could have last kissed it. You get me? He could have give you a shift candle. He could have give you a shift candle to the white line again, resistance, and come back down, but he didn't. You get me? Um, so you wait for the fourth doji. You got me. Wait for the fourth doji, and you take that going down. These trades right here are a little hard to identify, but they do work. You got me. And as you can see, like we might miss out at first on a few trades because while we're waiting for London and stuff like that. But once we get better, we're gonna trade the 4 hour based off what we see. You got me. It don't matter if it's Asian or New York session. You got me. Um, because we know that 70% chance that it's gonna work out based off what we see. But for now, to minimize losses and stuff like that, we're just gonna trade London session, basically. So yeah, this is basically it for the video. In this video, once again, I explained retail trend lines, the red line, last kiss, basically. This right here is kind of a last kiss. This area right here is the last kiss. Give me this green candle because how we had the dealer come up to resistance, wick it. Once he wicks it in a sell, in this case resistance, it's the last kiss. You get me? You take that going short, you wait for the dealer shift, throw your doji, and you take that going low. That's the last kiss. M's and W's, horizontal trend lines, these white trend lines right here are our main trend line source, including the box trend line for support and resistance. Doji candles, very important. How to identify false, well, not really false breakout, because that's not really a false breakout. I'll forget the false breakout part. But and I teach you lastly how to identify reversals. Basically, how we had the doji candle right here. How we how the dealer went to support, throw you a big doji. That basically can signify reversal and stuff like that at box support resistance.